Good morning, 522. I hope everybody is having a lazy Monday. Actually, I hope you guys still have the day off and are hopefully in bed resting. I know sometimes we tend to work on our days off, which I am doing right now, but I hope you guys get a little bit of time off and a little bit of rest and relaxation. Um, so just wanted to go over some things for week 4, but 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 before we do that, let's jump in with one of my favorite parts of the class, the quote: "No matter what people tell you, words and ideas can change the world." And that's John Keating, Dead Poet Society. I think people my age, some older fogies, we love this movie. It's one of those movies that at the time, I don't know if it got all the press it should have, but it really had some amazing ideas and just some amazing roles in it, right? And this thought is that what we do and what we say and our thoughts can really be impactful to those around us. And if we don't believe this, I don't know if education really is the right place for us. If you've never seen that movie, I highly recommend it. It is a great movie. But let's jump in. So first, a few thoughts from week 3. I've looked at a couple of your SketchUp uh, programs, your files, and uh, just know that I will be using the rubric, but there will be definitely some grace, I know, for a lot of people jumping into the 3D realm of designing is something that's way out of your comfort zone. And so don't worry about that. It will definitely be a lenient grade for the SketchUp. And from what I can tell from the few I looked at, I think you all are going to be fine. Um, but the thoughts on Goodreads and SketchUp from what challenges and what was something new from this week, most of you mentioned those two things in one of your discussion posts. And I would say that SketchUp is very challenging, but when you're learning a new app, a new skill, it's always going to be challenging. And so, um, just know that, right? There's always going to be a learning curve, whether it's SketchUp or even something as simple as Screencastify, which is really click and use. But there's always going to be little glitches and little things, and so don't let that deter you. And Goodreads is something new for a lot of people. But I will tell you, if you were doing a reading group, say with some teachers at your site, I don't think it's the most convenient way to do a book club. I think actually something like Voxer would work better, or even a Facebook group or something like that, because there's just a ease of use. Voxer is a great tool because it's like texting, but you can use your voice, and it's asynchronous. So you could easily make a little group in Voxer, invite people to that, and people can leave thoughts when it's convenient for them. And same with the Facebook group. Quick thoughts on discussion posts. If you need to go back over the rubric, there's a lot of replies that are really short and not really adding to the conversation. If someone makes a great point, it's awesome to say, hey, I totally agree with this, and I think this is an awesome point. Keep up the good work, something that way. But that reply also needs to move the conversation further. It has to have some thoughts or ideas that are somewhat in depth on the topic. So just agreeing with people isn't going to meet the requirements on the rubric. So just be careful there, and also make sure you're getting your posts in on time, and there's some thought to it. And the initial one definitely needs to be a little bit longer than the replies, but they're definitely short. And so those are missed learning opportunities. The discussion boards can be a big part of your program, and miss points, because I know some people are really focused on making sure they get all the points. But this week we look at emerging tech tools and really do some comparisons from emerging tech trends in 2014 to 2017. And if you Google emerging ed tech trends for 2019, I'm sure you'll find more articles, and they'll even be different. But real quick, I just wanted to pop over and show you. So this is from 2014, 3D printing MOOCs, which is sort of like online classes using big data, digital textbooks, gamification, flipped classroom. So that was a 2014 article. in 2017 article, you know, AI, artificial intelligence. Uh, Here, I'll just click to 2 pages. Gaming and simulation, blockchain and credentialing. So they're definitely different, and there's 3 articles to pop through. And really, this is going to guide your discussion board question and talk about. Well, let me just pop over to it. Read the articles and share your thoughts on the reading, and really kind of think of what happened since that 2014 article and those topics compared to some of the 2017. If you find a good article from 2019 and you want to use that as well, that's totally fine. Just put the link in your discussion post as well. And so, I mean, it's not a big surprise that these trends are changing every day, because as soon as something becomes emerging and then it becomes more commonplace, there's something new coming right up and to replace it. And so there can be some paralysis because of too many choices when it comes to ed tech, for sure, because the space is moving so fast. And let's be honest, as educators, we know our world is always changing, but sometimes our system that our world is built around is really slow to move into change. And then finally, your assignment for this week is to do a presentation. And so your presentation is on an emerging technology, and you're going to pick something from this list, and some of you already have, and you can put it over here. One thing I'd say is this is a list that Concordia has generated. Some of these things will be a little bit harder than others to do because they've come and they've gone, they've went away. Some of them aren't really emerging technologies anymore, but if they're on the sheet, that's totally fine. But just be careful, like Apple Classroom. I know I saw that one on there. That Flip isn't really around anymore. Flip Classrooms is not really emerging. It's on the list. So just know that when you're doing that presentation, you'll have to really focus on some of the newer emerging things within Flip Classroom. Google Glass is dead. Google killed that a while ago. You can still find a lot of information on it, though. And so you just got to go through and if you see something you like, just do a little bit of searching to make sure that it's going to be able to lend well to a presentation. Like if you want to do Google Glass, it might make more sense to actually do wearable technology because it's kind of the same idea and it's a little bit broader. So then you would just put your name and link once you get going. What I would recommend you do on your link, and like I said, some people have already done theirs, is go ahead and start your presentation. And so I'm gonna just do it right now to make sure you guys know what's going on. I'm going to go to my drive, and this is my district drive, so I'm going to pop over to Concordia. And if you have folders for every class, pop into the right folder. But I'm going to go new slides. And, you would title it Emerging Tech, probably with your name or something along those lines. And then go ahead on the share, hit your advanced, and remember that when you change it, it's not anyone within Concordia. It's going to be anyone with the link. That way, everyone that needs to see it can see it. And you see it says can view. If you want, you can also change to can comment. And then when you share it out, people can actually leave you comments. And so now that when you go to share, we're going to copy this link. And you can go ahead and put the link. You can paste it in like that. But since it's really long, you could even put, my presentation. Now that's a link that people can get to. So all of you have had no issues with sharing assignments, but I just wanted to spend a minute and put that in there. And so when you go through the rubric, your topic, your immediate presentation. Google Slides is fine. Some people still use Prezi. There's some Powtoon. There's some other stuff. The one thing I want to say, and this is really important, um, you know, presentations for a class like this can be interesting. I would say two things. One, you don't want to have too many bullet points on a page or like giant paragraphs of text. I know we've all been in those presentations, and you want to build this in a manner that would be like you're actually giving it. What you want to say, put in the notes section, right? I will read the notes section, and so I'm assuming, if you have 4 or 5 bullet points on a page, but there's a lot of information that you're based off those bullet points, put it in the notes section, and put your sources, your citing of your sources, put those in the notes sections as well. It says at the end of the project, you can have end of the project slide. That's totally fine, but it makes more sense to really put it on the slides you're using those sources and just put it in the notes. And I will be looking at that. Still use APA formatting and writing conventions. That's for everything within Concordia. But if I, let's change the layout of this slide real quick. If I have 3 or 4 bullet points here, just in the speaker notes, you can talk, you can type out what you want to do. Or for those of you that want to really try to implement this, pull up your slides. Screencastify is a free plugin. When you go to present, type something so there's something for me to present here. Hit present, and then turn on captions. And then as you're talking, Google is going to put your captions up on the slide, and you Screencastify record this. Now I can hear you giving the presentation, and I can read what you're saying as well. If you haven't used this in your classroom, it really is a nice feature for those students that have hearing issues, or if your room is big and they can't always hear what you're saying and they sit in the back, they can totally see what you're doing. So this is another way you can do it. I've had a couple people in some other classes do this. It's a really nice way to present, because I can see your slides, I can read what you're saying, and I can also hear what you're saying, and you can leave your head down in the corner and we can see you present as well. So if you want to do that, that is something that, to get used to doing. I use that a lot actually for my staff, and it seems to help them on training pieces. So that is for week 4, and really, that's it. Now, I will say it's kind of weird to me when I saw this June 2nd date come up. I'm like, that can't be right, but it's true. June is coming up fast, and I know most of you are winding down the year, as am I, and there's a lot going on to close up a school year. So just press on, and if you need anything, as always, text, email, call, Vox, direct message, Twitter, whatever you need to do to get a hold of me. I'm here to help, and have a great week.